Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Atrocious. You can also call me Jake, and we have the championship final of the National University 3-on-3 tournament at the end of the OP06 ST13 meta just before EB01 released in Japan. This is the matchup that we have in the 3v3 Sakazuki, Yamato, Katakuri, and Moria, and then Moria versus Sakazuki. I don't actually know which game they'll stream in this one and have the main showcase. I think it's going to be these two, the Yamato and the Sakazuki. So a matchup of old that we have seen time and time again. Now Yamato, we have seen very recently in the last video, the speed of Yamato just overwhelming for life characters. So I'm excited to see how this one goes, especially if that's the game that they showcase. But we're gonna have a fun one here. Wait a minute, where did they get these deck boxes? I want to know where they got these deck boxes. Anyways, just for full transparency as well, this recording is not going to be my own. This is the official live stream. If you want to watch the official live stream, I highly recommend it. You can check out the description below. So it looks like the main game that they're going to be showcasing is Moria versus Katakuri. So I do know that Moria is one of the most hyped decks heading into OP06, and Katakuri is overall with a color that is one of the most hated colors, yellow. Personally, I do not like playing yellow, but I do respect yellow as it is a very good deck. So I'm excited to see this one. I know that yellow kind of falls off, I feel like, in OP06, and not necessarily because it's just like it's bad. I just think black becomes really good. And so here is the Yamato versus Sakazuki. Where's his leader? There it is. And so Yamato ends up going first. Sakazuki goes first in this one. I think Sakazuki loves going first in this, and it looks like the Katakuri is going first. So I don't know who decided first and second in this game. It wouldn't surprise me if Moria said, okay, you know what, Katakuri, you can go first, because that means you're not on the like even curve, right? So looks like the Katakuri player is doing a mulligan, and it looks like the Moria player is keeping their hand. We'll see exactly what this hand consists of in this moment. And so make sure as well, if you want to watch some of the other matches, I've got an entire playlist of all of the matches that they have shown in this tournament that you can go watch. I did not expect to be able to watch every single match in this tournament, every single like 3-on-3, but we have. And so that's a lot of commentating for me. I just wanted to commentate some OP06, so that is very nice. The Moria deck has a Great Eruption, an Absalom, a Dr. Hogback, a Lucci, and a Kuzan. So a lot, and I mean a lot, of 4-drops in the starting hand, but the Great Eruption could be good for you in the starting game to draw cards. The Katakuri player, after the mulligan, gets a Beije, a Parasphero, a Okiku, and 2 7-drop Linlin. So actually not too bad of a hand overall, I would say. Going second, you are going to be able to play that Parasphero. I'm probably saying that wrong, and I'm sure I'm going to get a comment on the YouTube video about how I'm saying it wrong. I haven't made it that far in the anime, just so everyone is aware. But anyways, going into this game, 5 life each. We'll see exactly how this goes. And the players are starting off 1 Dawn turn to start, just going to be a pass for the Katakuri. Going into the 2 Dawn turn for the Moria. So doing the same thing with that beautiful Sanji and Zoro Dawn that we don't have yet in English, unfortunately, but passing the turn off to Katakuri. So Katakuri now on the 3 Dawn turn finds a Cracker, which could be nice, but it wouldn't surprise me if they swing 5 right here and then play the Parasphero. And so this swing right here, this 5k swing, could get ahead on pitching some characters into the trash for the leader effect, and that 3 is going to play down that dude with the bow and arrow that I mentioned earlier. So now passing it into Gecko Moria's turn. At the 4-Dawn turn, top decking a Dr. Hogback, I think. So probably with the leader effect, you will pitch a Dr. Hogback. So doing the -3 could be using that Absalom to get rid of the Pharaoh early. This is going to be a really nice play overall. So minusing 2 for that 1 cost character now. Going to be attaching 1 Dawn to the leader, swinging 6 at leader, and using leader effect. Going to be trashing 2 cards, but more than likely, after pitching this Kuzan, potentially, going to be grabbing the Absalom from the trash to be able to KO a cost of 2 or less character. So putting down the 8-drop. The 8-drop is something that you hate seeing go to the bin, and going to be putting back the Great Eruption. And also, this is a difficult decision because with Absalom, you do have to put back 2 cards from your trash into your deck. And after pitching the Rob Lucci, going to be thinking about either Rob Lucci or Branu, and it looks like it's going to be Branu. So putting those cards back and then KOing the Pharaoh. So honestly, you were able to play down the Pharaoh and get the on KO effect at least, so you don't hate it overall. So you got to grab a cracker off of that one because it has to be a Big Mom Pirate. And then now we determine what happens with the 6K swing. You did get 2 crackers and you do have a Beijing in hand, so you could easily just Beijing counter out of this if you want, but you could also maybe use the 2 crackers. Going to be taking that life instead, maybe hoping for a trigger, and it's going to be a Gadatsu. Gadatsu is going to be really nice. You can take care of this Absalom if you wanted to, now that you're on the 5-Dawn turn, but you may want to play Okiku instead. Potentially. So 5-Dawn here on this one, getting another Beijing 2K counter. Obviously you want Beijing in life, but you can't complain too much with having a 2K counter in hand. So going to be thinking about what they want to do, sliding around some cards. It looks like the Gadatsu is maybe at the forefront of their mind at this point. I wouldn't hate a Gadatsu play, just again to get rid of this Absalom and really just match their energy on the board control, and also just puts a big body down overall. So going to be swinging 5, a bear 5, going to be asking for a 1K counter card, and the cards are dwindling down for the Moria early, so using the Dr. Hogback to counter out of that, now playing 5 for the Gadatsu, going to be popping that Absalom there. And going into the Moria's 6-Dawn turn. So you gotta think that they're probably gonna use leader effect again. I would think a Sabo is the top deck. Sabo is very, very nice, but I don't think it's exactly what you're looking for overall. So thinking about how they want to do this. If they use Tashigi and rest Tashigi to make the Gadatsu 5, I don't think Tashigi can help you enough in this one to be able to take the KO on this Gadatsu and get rid of it for good. So we'll see exactly how they want to play this one. Yeah, because the Tashigi is only -2 and the Absalom only gets rid of 2 cost or less. So there's being a 3-cost character, it wouldn't really help. Tashigi might just be better as a 2K counter in hand. Could think about playing the Kuzan, and so swinging 7 now, no leader effect, probably like I mentioned, playing the Kuzan or the Dr. Hogback in hand now at this point. Or is that a Borsellino in hand? If that's a Borsellino in hand, they might play that, but I think I would play the Kuzan, just draw a card. And so this 7K swing, they're thinking about getting out of it. Don't want to go down 2 life too early. And so if they did, they'd have to get rid of 2 cards, a 2K and a 1K on this if they decide to counter out. They do have a couple 2Ks in hand and then those Charlotte Crackers, so it wouldn't be the worst idea in the world if you got rid of those. But also you could just hit a trigger, right? You haven't been able to look at your top life, so that's a little tricky. grabbing a pudding. The pudding is very, very nice. And then the Moria ending the turn playing a Kuzan and drawing another Dr. Hogback. So Dr. Hogback, how many of those have they seen? Have they seen 3 of them? They've seen 3 of their 4 already. Pretty crazy. Top decking the Satori now for the Katakuri's 7 Dawn turn. Could go in with another Bear Katakuri swing and play the 7-drop Big Mom. I think that's really what they're leaning on right now. You could either get some healing or have the Moria trash a life. I think the Moria would probably trash a life if anything, if I had to take a guess, if you played the 7-drop, but that's basically like a swing that hits in life. So could maybe do a little bit of swinging before you play the Moria, before you play the Linlin, the 7-drop Linlin. Sorry, I've casted like 6 or 7 games so far. However many games there are now on this playlist, that's how many I've casted tonight. And so the Katakuri is going to swing 5 to start out. It looks like it might be a Dr. Hogback counter real quick. Could maybe take a life. I think what you're aiming for on these bear swings is to catch a life, to basically like, because the closer that you get even in life as Katakuri, the more likely they are to give you one. And so there's going to be the Hogback counter to get out of that swing, and going to be playing the Linlin now before they play the Gadatsu. So going to be opting to take out that life. It is a Sabo, which is a counter that's gone, and a blocker draw character, which is really, really nice. So the Gadatsu now swinging 6. You got to use a 2K counter, which would be the Toshiki if you wanted to get out of this, or you would have to just take a life as they're doing right now. So life is now evened up again. You do have an 8-drop Moria though, so that is exactly what you want to see. Now with 9 Dawn in total, it is going to be a Perona. Perona, a very, very nice card, but you got to get Perona in the bin somehow. So maybe in this turn you play Perona and Sabo to be able to one, get a card out of the Katakuri's hand, but also put out a blocker and put on some pressure. So first off, swinging 5, and it looks like it's going to be at life, minusing the Gadatsu. So the Gadatsu is going to go down to 1 life overall, and it's going to be a Charlotte Cracker counter out as the Moria now swings away at lead. So not using leader effect, probably going to use the 8-drop to maybe grab the Absalon, get rid of the Gadatsu potentially. And then what else would they grab? They don't have any like 2s in there, so that 8-drop kind of feels awkward at this point, but that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to use that 8-drop. They're going to grab the Rob Lucci, and they're actually going to use Rob Lucci instead of the Absalom. I don't hate this play because either way you're going to KO one character, but like in terms of the Absalom is 1k counter less, right, than the Rob Lucci. The Rob Lucci is 6k body and the Absalom a 5k body. So putting back double Hogback and a Sabo, going to be getting rid of Nagadatsu and passing off the turn. So now what the Katakuri could do, the Katakuri could start doing a little bit more aggressive damage after getting another 2k counter. Oh my gosh, 2k counter draw city. What they could do, they could play the pudding to like draw a little bit, and then at 9 Dawn, they could attach 1 Dawn, swing 7 with Katakuri, swing 8 with the Linlin, and then play down the other 7-drop Linlin to either get a life or have their opponent take away another life. So I think that's probably, they're definitely going to play the Linlin this turn. I would play the Charlotte Pudding because you want to find 10-drop Big Mom, right? So you get to see the top 4 cards. You get to look at your life, right, with the Katakuri swing to find when you're going to find 10-drop Big Mom. And I think personally that's the best play that you can make at this point. So we'll see if that's what they decide to do. They're putting the pudding in the front, so I do think that they're looking for the pudding. The pudding can also grab a Katakuri as well. The Katakuri could be a good secondary option, but I think 10-drop Big Mom is definitely your number one option. So going to be playing the pudding right here. Going to be looking at the top four. So let's see what they get in here. It is going to be a 10-drop Big Mom. You got to slap that down on the table. I think they're thinking about either that or 200 million volts Amaru, which again, 10-drop Big Mom is the card that you get. It's such a clear game plan, I feel like, at this point. And so with 8 Dawn left, I believe, attach one of the Katakuri, go ahead, swing 7, get some more information on what your life is, or maybe what their life is, to be honest. You could do that. I think yours is probably more valuable, because especially if you get like an Okiku trigger or something, that's awesome. I think that's a Parosparrow. It's hard to tell because we only saw like the corner of it in the bottom part, but I think it's probably a Parosparrow. If it's a Parosparrow, you definitely leave it on top, because like you want the trigger to happen, and then going into your next turn, you just have that much more presence to be able to swing and go for game, pretty much. And so going to be countering out of that a 2K and a 1K to go to 8, and now you play the mom. And so what do you do now at this point if you're the Moria? I think you say you get the life at this point, because that takes away a little bit of their knowledge, and then also you don't lose a life at this point. I think that's another big part of why you would choose. I think I don't know, because that it's interesting as well that the 8-drop, the 7-drop mom that they played last turn, they didn't swing with it at that point, like before they played the second one. And I think that was more because like if you take a life, you're more likely to gain a life. So I think they're trying their best to just try to take as much life as possible at this point. So doesn't really matter which one that you swing with, as long as you swing with one and not the other, in my opinion. But going to be swinging now that 8K Linlin, and it's going to be at the Kuzan, and the Kuzan is going to be taking out the Kuzan. I do like that plan, actually, of taking out the Kuzan, because the Kuzan is so good at being able to have Moria like manipulate the cost of your character. So now it makes it just a little bit harder overall. And so top decking the Hina, it looks like Katakuri is in a pretty good spot, since we know that the 10-drop mom is coming next turn. Looking at their Dawn, they've got a couple options of stuff that they can play. They can go in, swing 6 with the Moria, swing 6 with the Lucci, swing 9, maybe take out a Big Mom, and then go ahead, play Sabo Borsalino, filter your hand a little bit, protect your dudes, and get some blockers out on the field to be able to potentially get what you need for the next turn to continue kind of trying to stay alive in this game. It's not looking good for you. You're teetering on the edge, in my opinion, but we'll see how this goes. Lots of 2Ks in hand. That's 4 2Ks right now in the Katakuri player's hand. So yikaroonies. That is, oh my gosh. So you could 2K counter off the leader swing, 2K counter off the Lucci swing, 2K counter off the 8-drop Moria swing on your 7-drop Linlin, and you would live the turn without losing a life. That's insane. That's crazy. My goodness. So we'll see how they do this. I mean, what I mentioned with the Sabo and Borsalino, I think is maybe your best game plan. Like, you don't really have an avenue to be able to KO stuff, right? I mean, you might with the Absalom, like if you did Tashiki and Hina, that would be -5, and then you'd be able to take out that Linlin. You could take out the active one and then maybe just try to go for like using the 8-drop Moria to be able to take a KO. but going to be swinging 6 at life first. We do know that they left that life at the top, so it could be something that they, honestly, like if it's a play trigger, it could be an Onami. That might be something. The Onami would be KOing a 5 cost or less character, so that could get rid of the Rob Lucci on that side, and you wouldn't have to worry about it if you couldn't hit lethal the next turn. But it looks like they're just going to toy with them a little bit. Maybe just take out that Beijing real quick. You don't need it. I really want to know what that life is. I think it's probably Onami. It's either Onami or like Perosphero, I think. And so 1 Dawn, where is it going to go? I think the 1 Dawn's going to... Oh, it's going to the Moria up there. So swinging 10. I don't know exactly where this 10 is going. If it's to the Lin that is rested, then it's going to require 2 cards no matter what. And it would probably... It would have to be 2 2Ks actually, looking at their hands. So that actually wouldn't be good for the Katakuri. You definitely don't want to over counter if you don't have to. But also, I think the Linlins are too important to your game plan. Because like, if like they might do the Hina Tashigi and then leader. Wait, if they go Hina Tashigi, what is that? That's 6 Dawn. 6 Dawn, they have 9 Dawn left, so they could use leader effects still to use the Absalon, like I mentioned, and get rid of one of the Linlin. So if this is directed at a Linlin, you definitely want to counter out, because there's a world where they could get rid of the other one. Now, obviously, the player on the left does not know what the Gecko Moria player has in hand like we do. So obviously, we can see that line of play, but to them, they've got to think of more of the possibilities of what could actually happen. So they're thinking about using the 2 2Ks to counter. I think, in all honesty, I think that's the correct decision, no matter if you have the knowledge of the hand or not. And going to do that a Satori and a Beijing. So this is interesting. So attaching 2. So they're going to be attaching 2, swinging 7 now, and then using leader effect. That only leaves 5 Dawn in total, and then trashing the Hina. They're going to trash a Branu and a Suru, use the Dr. Hog back, and going to be getting the Hina back and putting, or I'm sorry, going to be putting the Perona back in their hand, and then going to put the Hina and the 8 cost Moria back at the bottom of the deck. Maybe just getting a 2K counter in hand and playing Sabo at the end of this turn. So going to be a 7-drop Linlin. My God. That was at the top of their deck. Going to be a Sabo draw, protecting all of these characters from shady effects, and grabbing a Perona and a Rebecca. So this is actually a pretty decently tough decision. You either discard 2 blockers or you discard one of your 2Ks. Either one doesn't feel good. Because if you discard one of your 2Ks, right, that's less counter that you have. But also if you discard the Rebecca, then that is getting rid of a card that helps filter things back into your hand from the trash. So getting rid of the blockers, keeping the 2Ks, and we move on to the 10 Dawn turn. Now, one thing that wouldn't surprise me, because he has another 7-drop in hand, is actually if he didn't use the 10-drop Big Mom and instead used his Dawn to try to KO the 8 cost Moria at this point. Because if you think about it, let's see, if you put 2 Dawn on, no, it would actually be more efficient to like use the 1 Dawn on the Katakuri, go ahead, swing 7 at the Rob Lucci, right? Take that guy out, and then use 2 Dawn one each of the Linlins, try to take out the 9-drop, and then go ahead play 7-drop again. That might be the most efficient way if you're trying to get rid of the Moria, but I still don't think 10-drop is a bad play at this point. I mean, when is 10-drop like not a bad play overall? I mean, obviously there are situations where you don't want to 10-drop, but I think for the most part, it's a pretty good game plan overall. You can apply so much pressure to just do that. And so going to be messing with their Dawn, putting it in 6 and 4, I think it was, but that doesn't make sense, 6 and 4. But yeah, I think you have 2 lines of play. Just either play the 10-drop Big Mom, or you do what I did in distributing the Dawn and try to just delete board a little bit and end with that 7-drop. I think ending with the 7-drop is pretty cool. I think maybe as they're showing on the screen, they're thinking about doing impact. But I think you really only go for impact if you feel like you can have lethal in the game. With 200 million volts Amaru right there, which is a card they don't have in hand. Well, 200 million volts Amaru can't rest the Sabo anyways. So maybe just I don't know which one I'd rather prefer. I think I'd rather prefer the 7-drop Mom, in all honesty. And you maybe even can lead off with the 7-drop Mom overall. But honestly, with the 10-drop, it may just give you more time in the game and less shenanigans overall. So using the 5k swing at leader, kind of forcing either give me a card or give me a life, right? Because if you give me a card, then that means that these 8-drops, or I'm sorry, these 7-drop Moms are going to be swinging away at your characters and you have less counter cards. But if you take a life, that means I'm that closer to the game. And even then, like, even if he does drop the 10-drop Mom, then it's just going to be difficult for him to stay afloat anyways without like giving up the Sabo. Because you have to commit 2 of your 2Ks to be able to get out of a single Big Mom swing. So they can put you to 0 life really, really easily. What other avenues could they be thinking about doing? If they used the impact, right? The impact would take a life. They would also take a life at that point. You wouldn't be able to use the 7-drop Big Mom, but you can use the rest of your Dawn to distribute. You would have 6 Dawn left overall. And you could go for game that way. If you use the impact, though, you can't use the 7-drop. And so, sorry for the hiccup. And so now they're swinging 8. I think it's at Rob Lucci. Yeah, so going for the board clear more. I don't hate this. Maybe he's not going to be swinging their... maybe they're not going to be swinging their 7-drop Mom at all. So going to be taking a life. It's a Sabo. That's one that hurts if you are the Gecko Moria player, because you definitely want another blocker because you pitched all your blockers off of that last Sabo. So biting him in the butt a little bit, but I think it was a little tough overall in my opinion. So going to be thinking about what they want to do at this point. You've got no Dawn left, so I think really they're just deciding like whether or not they want to swing the 8 at life, and they are. So going to be taking that life, not even thinking about it, even though they can counter out. It's going to be Great Eruption, so discarding a card from your opponent's hand, letting that trigger go off. Looks like it's going to be Okiku is the front runner. So Okiku is going to be right there, saving that impact to KO a possible Sanji that could, or not Sanji, I'm sorry, Rebecca, that could come down. Keeping that 7-drop as well, although the 7-drop doesn't matter, I think, at this point. But the Okiku is definitely the least valuable And so 10 done now, kind of thinking of the avenues. Can they end up winning this game? Can they end up winning this game? Oh my God. I'm so bad at English. There is a world where they could actually win this game, but they have to have all of these characters hit. We've seen crazy things before. I think it was the Perona in one of the previous OP06 tournaments, one with the Katakuri having like 3 or 4 life left, and they won that turn. So if the math lines up, the good news that they don't know about is that they don't have a lot of counter in hand. But if they just swing a 6, that means that they're probably losing this game. So how do you get this math to work? Capone Beige is also a card that could get them to lose the game. One single Capone Beige and you're toast. A Brulee also is another one that could be toast. There's a lot of triggers in this deck that could really just ruin your night. A Sanji trigger could even do it. Yeah, there it is. Right on cue, team. Good job, production. Even Onami. Oh my God, I'm a genius. Onami with that trigger to KO a 5 cost or less character could KO that Dr. Hogback because the Sabo effect is not present anymore on the Dr. Hogback. So a lot of things could just mess you up. I definitely think that you swing with Dr. Hogback first. Oh my God, 200 million volts tomorrow. I'm done thinking about the different triggers that could happen. But starting off with a 7K swing from Sabo, it is going to connect. And what is it going to be? It's going to be no trigger. It's going to be a counterless card. Oh my gosh, one step closer. Can he do it? Can the Gecko Moria do it? You can't, just don't swing 7. Just don't swing 7. I definitely think though that you swing 8 with the Dr. Hogback. That's going to connect. What's it going to be? It's a trigger. Oh, it's just going to hand. It's a Satori. It's a 2K trigger. That means that you need to swing for 9. Oh my gosh. You need to swing for 9. That means you have to put 4 Dawn. Oh, that's 9 right there. And what is this? Is it a Beige? Oh no. Oh my goodness. He did it. Oh my gosh, that impact with the trigger of draw 1 card, hoping to draw into enough counter, which actually wouldn't have mattered because he would have only gotten to 11, which is what the Moira swung at the very end. And so the Moira is going to win, beating the Katakuri in that match. And I think this is going to decide the game. Sakazuki versus Moira. We've seen this match before in the 3-on-3 tournament. This is a battle that is tried and true of all of OP06. This is the epitome of what OP06 is right here. The 2 best decks in the format, in my opinion. Going to be playing the Tashigi at the start of their turn. 1 life each. There's a Rebecca and Ice Age. They're going to be grabbing the Ice Age. The Ice Age is going to be used probably on the Borsalino. Thinking about maybe if they want to do that. It depends on what their other 2 cards are in hand. So going to be using it on the Borsalino right there. They've got 3 cards in hand. Going to be Hellblazing the Borsalino. Using it on the brand new. The brand new is going to go into 6K. Only 1 blocker on the field. About 5 cards, I think, on the Moira's hand, though. Oh my God, a lot of cards, actually. A lot of cards. Way more than 5. So this one's going to be a little bit more tricky, because there's a lot of cards in one player's hand. So going to first be swinging 7 with the brand new after that Houndblaze. And going to be easy. Lots of counter in there. It's going to be a 1K and a 2K counter to go up to 8. You have to hit twice and they have a blocker. You have no other way to bottom deck the other Borsalino. Got 2 Moiras, a Sabo, and a leader that you can swing with. Only 6 Dawn left, though. 5 Dawn, I think. Going to be swinging another 8, minusing 1 on the Borsalino. It's going to be an easy 2K and a 1K counter. 2 2Ks, actually, to go to 9. Going to be using the Hound Blaze to just boost up this Sabo, swinging 8. And it's going to hit a 9K swing. Going to block and a 9K swing. Going to be, oh my gosh, that's a lot of non-counter. What the heck? Oh my gosh. Kuzan, no counter. Lucci, no counter. Hina, no counter. Only 9K in total. Perfect math to where the non-Yamato team, I think the non-Yamato team ended up winning. No. Did it? Did the Yamato team win? I don't know. The Katakuri team didn't win. I can't remember who was on both teams because we didn't see the Yamato game. But my gosh, those are some thrilling endings to the game. I still can't believe. So Katakuri got duped again. That's the second time that I've seen Katakuri at like 3 life and they still lose on the turn. My goodness. Holy smokes. Wait, let's go back to the... So it looks like the Yamato team did end up winning it. It looks like it was Moria, but I think the Moria and Sakazukis were the winners. So I think Yamato lost to Sakazuki, and then these two ended up winning to win the 3v3. My goodness, what a thrilling and fun tournament. I love this. When's the next 3v3? Congratulations to the winners. Thank you again for watching. And again, if you want to watch the whole tournament, because there are over 6 hours of gameplay in this one, you can check the link in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you want to see more games. I'm excited for the OP06 format, and also, no, that's about all I got. I'll see you later.